Everyone, and Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you all enjoyed Split Ends. Welcome to the Q&A with Rajan Kathet, who is the director of Split Ends. ये हमारा weekend का festival है with the Pame Film and Music Festival in Nepal. So we're really happy to be doing this collaboration. And Rajan, thank you so much for joining us and sharing this incredible film with us. I'll introduce you a little bit. Rajan is a filmmaker based in Kathmandu. He's studied direction from Doc Nomads. He's a former alumni of Berlinale. And he completed a film called Bare Trees in the Mist and is currently working on No Winter Holidays. So we'd love to hear more about that moving on. But sabse pehle to let's get straight into it. And tell us about this film. How did you come up with this idea? What kind of gave birth to it? What was the genesis of it?
Hello everyone. Thank you Documentary Association of Pakistan for this opportunity. Actually, this project was made as part of my school assignment. It was my thesis film for my master's program. It was my last semester in Portugal, and we had to make a film, like a 25 minutes film, and it was open for us to choose any topic to make a film. Actually, I wanted to make I wanted to make a film about something Portuguese, because I was in Portugal and I thought I should do something Portuguese, but it was really difficult for me to find a topic or a subject because of this language barrier, and so I had to make something about Nepalese immigration, because there are a lot of not only Nepalese people but a lot of South Asian immigrants living in Lisbon, Portugal. So I thought I should do something about that, because that would give me easy access to these people because of the language. So I visited this salon where I saw that a lot of not only Nepalese but a lot of South Asian people were coming to get their hair trimmed, and so I kind of felt that this salon was a hub, for this Nepalese community in Portugal and also for other South Asian people. So I thought I should make a film about this salon and just portray it like a hub for these people.
So how did you find the saloon? Was it a happy accident? Did you go there to get your own haircut?
Yeah.
You cross it?
I used to go there to get my haircut regularly. Yeah, that's run by a Nepalese guy, so it was quite easy for me to find this salon.
So at what point in your going to get your haircut did you decide that this is where I should make a film?
No, like when I was actually I used to go there to get my haircut, and I found out that there people there, like, since this the guy who was running the salon was kind of the person who was already there for already more years. So a lot of newcomers, a lot of these Nepalese people who had been to Lisbon recently, they used to come there for getting advices regarding social security papers, resident permit, and a lot of these legal issues, and he used to give them advices. So this place was not just a salon, but it was kind of a place where advices was kind of seeked, and these people were helped. And I thought, like, this salon was telling the stories of the immigrants, how they end up there, how are they ended up there, and what's their future, and what do they want to do next in their life. So everything was happening in this salon, and I could get all the information about these immigrants from this salon. And then I realized that I think I'll get everything here. Yeah.
And why immigration? Why is that a topic that you wanted to cover?
Like initially, like I didn't think that I want to make a film about immigrants, but I wanted to make a film about Nepali community, but they were immigrants in this land, in Portugal. So it was not a conscious decision, but it came out like naturally because that's what they're like. Their identity in this land was immigrants who were really struggling hard. So I didn't think like I would make a film about immigrants, but this is how it happened.
Can you share? So one of the things I really love about your film is it really does the pacing of it, the way you've edited it. You know, it feels very natural. It feels like the rhythm of a
Hmm.
barbershop is very much there. You know,
Hmm.
between there's moments that are more quiet. The conversation is tangential, but I was very interested in your kind of process of production with this, also because people are looking, they're never looking at the camera,
Hmm.
and they feel very natural. And the consciousness that you see really does just feel like the consciousness anyone has when you're going to get your hair done or something. So, did
Hmm.
you have cameras fixed in certain places? Because the frame remains pretty much the same or
Hmm.
it pivots a little bit. So, kind of, what was your process, behind kind of how did you shoot it? And if you can share that with us.
Actually, this saloon has two sections. One was for males, where I have filmed, and there was another section for females, just inside of it. And there was a chance that I could film everything. Like for the first week, I was filming everything. Like there was no choice of how I'm going to film it. I was just filming every actions that was happening there. So I thought like it won't be possible to make a film if I film like this. So I kind of gave myself a restriction, like restriction of the space. I should just film one thing, and from this thing, like, because when we go to get our haircut or get our beard trimmed, the only thing we can look is the mirror that is in front of us. So we cannot move our head the way we like, because our head is in the control of the barber. So in this film also, I don't know if you realized, actually I have filmed everything through the mirror. Actually that's the mirrors, everything's the mirror shot. So uh, the camera was always next to these customers, and the camera was always facing towards the mirror. uh, and that's how like these people didn't really give attention to the camera, because they wouldn't clearly see the camera. But I had always asked them for their consent to film. A lot of people didn't give consent, but actually a lot of people gave also. And that's how like I decided to film just through the mirror. And yeah, and the editing, it was really difficult, because the structure could go anywhere. Like there was not a particular storyline or a thread that I could follow. So the most difficult part was editing. I really struggled for several months, and in the end I just had to do something. That's how it came up.
Right. So how much, yeah, I can imagine. I mean, how much volume would you say you shot? Like what percentage of the total that you shot is the film that we're watching?
I would say 15.
Right.
Yeah, I filmed like for around 2 months. Yeah.
Right. Two months, couple of times a week you were there for, and in the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
position.
Yeah. I was filming. Yeah, actually, if I'm the customer, so I would either film from here or there, but almost in the same position, always filming in the mirror.
Right. That's brilliant. And what is, there's so many interesting, so many interesting characters, in this film that, just kind of come and go and different kinds of conversations. Are there some people that you left out that you really wanted in? And, why did you make those choices? Why did you choose to keep the conversations that you kept? Or, are there some people that you think back and you think, I wish I would have included those people in the film as well?
Yeah, like actually, I filmed this documentary in a this salon was very next to a very busy street. So I really suffered with the sound. So there were a lot of good moments that I left out, also because I had filmed also like a lot of Portuguese people getting their haircut, but and there was really on good conversations. because this Portugal wouldn't understand Nepalese, and this Nepalese, one of the Nepalese barber who was pretty new in Portugal, like he wouldn't understand Portuguese. So there were a lot of interesting conversations, but I couldn't include it because one is because of the length of the film, and other also because this film, it was really struggling in terms of narrative. So I couldn't make it long, so I left out so many interesting like moments from the film.
Another thing I was interested in is how much did you prompt? Did you, I mean, because, there's so many conversations and, they seem to be happening very naturally. And like
Mhm.
you said, the place was a hub
Mhm.
for that kind of conversation anyways. But did you prompt? Did you ask questions? What was that kind of process? Or was it, did you just stay observational and you didn't prompt at all, didn't ask any questions? What was that process for you?
Actually, everything was observational. Like when I think from now, like now I think that maybe I could have prompted or provoked some conversations that could have made the film even more stronger. I really regret not doing that, but at that moment, everything was observational because I filmed so many things. So a lot of interesting conversations they were just happening naturally.
No, that's great. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it needs it. That's why I was interested. If there were actually any prompts that you had done, or if you'd spoken to the people, the hairdressers,
Hmm.
and I'm assuming obviously they also over time started to get an idea of
Hmm.
the kind of film that you were making. So I was just kind of wondering about that. But yeah, it all felt very natural, and I think that's one of the
Yeah,
wonderful
because
things about it.
yeah, because when they come to salon, they always talk about how's their work going, like when are they going to renew their resident papers, like where are they working, because most Nepalese like they naturally start talking about this, so it was not very difficult in getting this information.
And are you in touch with any of the people? What happened to did that guy, the guy's cousin, was he also a hairdresser who's sitting there and talking? He's also one of the
Uh,
hairdressers,
yes,
right?
yes, he's one of the hairdresser.
So what happened? Did his cousin go back to Nepal or, you
Well, the
know?
interesting thing, he was planning to go back to Nepal, but just some weeks after I completed my filming, like actually this guy, he got the social security paper and he decided to stay back. So he didn't come back to Nepal. Yeah,
Right.
and regarding if I'm in connection, yeah, like I'm in touch with the main barber, like his kind of friend. We regularly we chat in Facebook and we are friends.
Right, right. That's great. Um, can you also just share what was it like, for you? You were there for these 2 years, and I think the kind of themes and that your film touches upon with immigration, and the dream of moving versus the reality, the harsh reality. And I mean, it's the same in Pakistan. People go through some terrible ordeals to get out of the country, and thinking that there will be a better future, there will be a better life for them. But it's hard, and it's a difficult journey, and it's a difficult struggle. And what did you feel about that? And also yourself being there for 2 years, and seeing all the difficulty that people go through to immigrate. Kind of what are your feelings about that?
Oh, well, like yeah, I stayed in Europe 2 years. It was in Portugal, Hungary, and Belgium, because our course was like a nomad kind of course. We would like change the country per semester. I was very much homesick actually. I would miss my family a lot and mostly the food. Actually, I think that's the main reason why I came back. But
It's momos.
yeah, momos also. But when I was filming this documentary, I ate a lot of momos because there were a lot of Nepali restaurants there already.
Right.
And a lot of these people actually, first they go to Europe, some go to like countries like Germany or United Kingdom as students, and when their visa runs out, they enter Portugal as illegal immigrants, and this journey starts for them, like this struggle. A lot of people, they just paid like million Nepali rupees to the agents, and they go to Portugal. And actually Portugal's economy is not very good compared to other countries like Belgium or Norway. So the average income is not much higher actually than what Nepalese people make here also. So there I found out that a lot of people there were working just to pay the taxes to the local government so that they could renew their resident paper each year. And they were also asking money from their families back home for their survival, and the earning they were making was just to pay for the local, just to pay for the government so that they could just keep renewing their resident paper. And after renewing their resident paper for 5 or 6 years, they become eligible to apply for the passport. So all this journey is about earning a Portuguese passport. Then after they have this passport, they just leave Portugal and they go to other better European countries. Life
Right.
is in Europe. I found that Nepalese, not just Nepalese but South Asians, their life is quite difficult.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And there is, this increase of going to Europe also, because I was reading somewhere that apparently there's a lot of Nepali immigration to Malaysia, and other countries as well. But the kind of move towards Europe is growing now. And yeah, I mean, we actually, in one of our previous film festivals, we showed a film called Dunki, which is about Pakistani people immigrating. And there's just a lot of really awful, crazy things that people have to go through. On a lighter note, we have a question, because with the because it's not momos that you missed. So Mustaqim Hassan is asking, what Nepali food item did you miss the most?
We have this we say the rice and curry. That's what my
Oh,
mother makes. So
right,
whenever I was hungry, I would be hungry for rice. I wouldn't be hungry
right,
for burger. That was the food I always missed.
right. The dal bhat.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
what
the
it's
one.
called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lentils and rice, dal bhat. Yeah.
Dal chawal, yes. Dal chawal is the best. When I went to Nepal, I also eat a lot of dal chawal, and we have it here, and I loved the dal bhat over there. It was wonderful.
I, I I had a Pakistani classmate. She used to treat us a lot with a lot of food. She was really
Ah,
good in cooking.
great. And on the food thing, what's the sushi thing? I thought it was very
No,
quirky
sushi. I
and
think
very
is it
interesting.
Korean? Sushi, is it Korean dish?
Mm,
Sorry, sushi is a Japanese dish.
yeah.
Actually, it's a kind of fancy thing for the Europeans. And like Nepalese people, they wouldn't risk opening a dal bhat restaurant. So Japanese like sushi, and a lot of actual Nepalese people, yeah, like they are sushi chefs in Portugal.
Right, that's so interesting. Yeah, because that's what I
Yeah.
was wondering when that guy was talking about, trying to make sushi and having to, we're supposed to
Mhm.
make three in a minute, and I could only make one, and
Yeah.
that's interesting that there's Nepali people seem to be learning how to make sushi and working in Japanese restaurants.
No, like these are restaurants running by Nepalese, but it's a sushi restaurant.
Ah, right,
Yeah.
right.
So
And
there
is
are
there
two
a
kinds of.
reason for that?
Sorry.
Sorry, go on.
No, like there are two kind of jobs. One is a good job, one is a bad job. Like if you end up doing worse job, you would end up in the farms picking up strawberries. But if you are lucky, you will get a job in a sushi restaurant. So sushi dreams of Nepalese.
Um, so we have a question from Anam, who's also a co-founder of DAP, and she's asking, I would love to know more about Doc Nomads and the experience of being a filmmaker in a new place. And also, while making this film, were you the only crew member?
Okay, I would like to start from Dr. Mers. Dr. Mers is a European Union joint master's degree. Joint master's degree in the sense that after completing this master's degree, you will get this master's degree certificate from 3 different universities from 3 different countries where you study. So this program offers full scholarship for like third world countries like Nepal and other like a lot of other countries, but one can also choose to pay. So the application usually opens in August September, and actually the application was closed just I think 1 week ago for 2021 and 2023 batch session. Uh, Sorry, what was the next question?
Yeah, what was your experience like of being part of the program and being over there and traveling around?
Well, before going to Dr. Numbers, actually, I was working in a lot of fiction films, and I didn't go there because I wanted to I wanted to do a documentary, but I wanted a film degree with scholarship. That's how I went there, and luckily I was accepted. So Doc Nomads, like it was a really great experience for me because the way I view documentary in the beginning, it completely changed that idea. Earlier, like for us, like we grow watching a lot of this television report kind of documentaries in the earlier. But once I went there, like Dr. Matt's treats documentaries just like fiction films. Like you meet a lot of people and you make character films, and you just make films about location where there are no people. And the teacher also tell us like you don't shoot the reality, but even you direct the reality so that you create something that you perceive as. So it was a really great experience, and they used to bring teachers from all around the world. Like it was not, if I was in Portugal, it was not just a Portuguese teacher. Sometime a editor from Cuba would come, and she would supervise our editing. And the most fun part was of course the traveling, because this course pays for your travel, it pays for your lodging, fooding, house rent, everything. And it's like a picnic degree. Like you also get money, you also earn a degree. So I think
That's the
I
best.
tell everyone to I'll tell everyone to apply to this course. Yeah.
That's great. And yeah, the other question that she was asking is, in this when you made this film, were you the only crew member on shoot, or did you have other people doing production with you, or was it just you on your own?
Because it was a very narrow saloon, so I was the only one. So sometime I would just like click on the camera, and sometime I would forget to record the sound. So actually I missed a lot of really strong moments in this film. I was the only crew. Of course, in post production, like I got help for sound designing and color correction, but most of the things I did alone.
Um, we have another question from Haya. How did spending time in 3 different European countries, one after the other, affect your style as a filmmaker?
Mm, I didn't think it changed that much, I would say. Because Doc Romance, like it was actually it kind of manipulated us, like not to make any interview kind of documentaries. So we'd always go for something very observational kind of thing. So everywhere we went to go, we always follow this approach. And I wouldn't say like if I had found this topic in Belgium, maybe I would do the pretty same thing actually.
And also, you said that when that you were initially more interested in fiction, and then you're saying that this program kind of, influenced your idea of what documentaries were. So, have you shifted in this direction now, or are you still doing fiction as well?
I'm doing both fiction and documentaries. Last year I did a short fiction short, and now I'm working on a fiction documentary. Actually, I'm working on this fiction feature documentary for like more than 2 years already, and now we are in the editing phase. I'm giving time to both. I think now I'm interested in both.
Right. And can you share with us about the film that you're working on at the moment, or is that something that you can talk about?
No, I can tell you the brief idea about this. So this new documentary is about two elderly women who are actually sister wives. They were married to the same man for 50 years, but the husband is now dead for 8 years.
Right.
And they come from a very remote mountainous village in the western part of Nepal. So during winter time, all these villagers they moved to warmer parts of southern warmer parts to other regions of the country, and these two women stay back in this village, and they have to take care of this village as the guard, for the whole winter period. They are caretakers of this village. So in this film we are exploring all these difficulties they will face in this winter, and how they and we test their relationships. They are like the sister wives, like the Sultan thing we say. So how they deal with each other. It's the main idea
Right.
of the film.
That's very interesting. And I mean, how do they deal with each other? And also, is that a common thing in Nepal also? Because over here, there are many people who, have more than one wife because it's allowed. But is that common over there as well? And what is their relationship? If the husband has passed, what kind of a relationship do they have now?
Well, until I would say until my father's generation, like I know a lot of people married twice, thrice. Even my youngest uncle has two wives. So actually, he married two sisters, from the same family.
Right.
But these days, the younger in the younger generation, we are now the younger generation, and like it's not happening in this these days. But for my father's generation, it was quite common, and no law would act against them. Like they just do it. So regarding the relationship between these two women, of course, they don't really want to face each other, but one of them keeps getting sick, and their house is just next to each other, and they just have to bump into each other forcefully. So at best, like they wouldn't want to face each other. They just want to do their things by themselves.
Right. So we have a comment and a question from Babar Dogar. A very warm welcome, Rajan. Can you share your experience regarding you and your Nepali friends' discourse regarding the West and Western people when you are at home? And anything different you found when you lived within these Western societies?
Uh, Sorry, can you repeat the question? It's a pretty difficult question for me.
Yeah, it is a difficult question.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
like a
think
big
in
philosophical
summary,
question.
I think in summary, what he's asking is what kind of conversations did you and your friends in Nepal have about the West before you went, or what kind of conversations happen, say amongst young Nepali people about the West and living in the West, and what was different when you went there? What did you find to be different?
Um, I don't know how to answer, but even before I went there, of course, I had a lot of foreign filmmaker friends that I had already worked with. No, of course, going from Nepal to the West, like we always felt ourselves very much inferior, in terms of like who we are and how we perceive cinema. But once I started working with my classmates, like it didn't last long. So we are just among each other. Also because during my course, there were like 24 students from 24 different countries, not just from the West. They were from South America, from Pakistan, India. and like Vietnam. So it was a really collective, like friendly feeling among each other. So I didn't really feel much different about the West or being home. Like,
Great, thank you. Um, Also, Rajan, from obviously, I think you were working and then you went and then now, you're back and you're based in Kathmandu. Can you also share with us a little bit, because obviously in Pakistan, one of the things, that DAP is doing is we're looking at and we're working on and working with other filmmakers to kind of really make space in our own documentary landscape so that there are more opportunities, because, there's not much funding over here.
mhm.
There's not enough of a local industry that supports documentaries. What's it like in Nepal? What is the situation with documentaries getting funding? What are the kind of struggles that documentary filmmakers face in Nepal? So it'd be great if you could tell us about that.
Well, the situation is pretty similar here because the support from the state is zero also, and also the young filmmakers, uh, they are not much into documentaries. They are either very much planning to make fiction, or they are doing a lot of YouTube kind of things. So actually these days I am also a lot of involved in documentary education, and I am coordinating documentary making classes in film schools, and I am also working with this Kathmandu International Mountain Film Festival, the only like the oldest and the biggest film festival in Nepal, and that is very much focused in documentary filmmaking. I have been working with this festival since last 3 years, and I am very much like there. I coordinate these documentary making labs where there's a lot of new filmmakers. They come with rough ideas or rough plots, and we have a team and we help them to shape these films. Um, they are very much into fiction, but when they think of documentaries, they don't find it very fancy, because they have uh, they have grown up believing that all these development projects that NGO kind of works are documentaries, and they think like it's not documentaries. It's not very creative. So the documentaries, the scenario is pretty dead in Nepal. Not much filmmaker are doing creative documentaries actually.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very, very similar.
Yeah,
Incredibly similar over here as well, and that's something that we think about. I mean, how do you think we can improve this situation? What needs to be done? What are your thoughts on that?
no, I think during this COVID time, like of course, like it was really bad for the uh, business of this filmmaking industry. But the way people started talking about films and collaborating between different countries. Even in Nepal, there are a lot of they did a lot of programs. Even the online programs related to documentary filmmaking and fiction. And I think the PAME and this DAP conversation also, like, it emerged during this COVID. And I think it's a good sign that I think at this moment I think we need to more about the talking rather than like of course if we say, like if I say like I want to collaborate with a Pakistani filmmaker, like it wouldn't be possible, or like it needs some time, because like how to collaborate. There is no like any way or like any mechanism. But the way these talks have been initiated recently, I think it's a really a good sign.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think it is really interesting how COVID, the online mindset, has also allowed for us, even though we could have all done this before also, but somehow
Yeah,
because we all went online, in a way, it has been easier to reach out, and that's something that's very important to us as well. I visited Nepal, and I feel like this kind of South Asian collaboration and us all
mhm,
supporting each other. And I think
yeah,
especially having similar industries is really, really important, and these are the kind of conversation. I think it
mhm,
begins from having these kinds of conversations
Exactly.
and working together. And it's a real tragedy. Do you know that the ticket to Nepal, there used to be a direct PIA flight that would go to Kathmandu, and it was very affordable. And they stopped that flight a few years ago. And I think that's something that so many of us have been so sad about,
Really.
because it's so easy to travel there. And Nepal is one of the few countries that gives us a gratis, visa when we arrive. It's one of
Okay.
the only countries that welcomes Pakistan. But now it's too expensive to go. So, but yeah.
So which route do you follow? Like, if you have to come to Nepal, like, which is the new route?
The new route is usually through the UAE because we
Okay.
can't come through India.
First, you have to go Dubai.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my!
Hmm. Yeah. So it's
It's really,
going all
yeah,
the way
like
around.
a lot of money, you know. Yeah, even very expensive.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a beautiful country. I really love Nepal, and hope I can go there more, and hope that you can come here too. We also one of our other co-founders, Haya, today was also saying that the Nepali team did a summit of K2 today.
Oh,
So,
today. Okay. Yeah.
so
Congratulations to us.
yeah, congratulations.
Uh,
But yeah, well, we can thank you so much, Rajan. This has been it's been so nice to have you with us, and incredible to show your film. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with people?
well, first, thank you very much for giving this chance. Keep making films, keep making documentaries. Just I would like to say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great,
yeah, and
and
hope
we hope
this
to
and
show
hope
your
this crazy. Yeah, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, and hope this craziness ends very soon, and we'll be able to meet each other.
exactly, and we hope to show your other film as well. It sounds amazing. Sounds
Yeah,
really great.
definitely. Yeah, I'll keep in touch. Now we are in touch.
Great, great. Thank you so much. And everyone, please join us tomorrow for the last film that is in the Pame showcase. It's called Roshan and Mani, and it's a wonderful Indian film. So hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow. And thank you so much again, Rajan.
Thank you, Tajin. Thank you, Dan.
Bye.
Bye bye.